Do you want to start again?
Yep.
Do I do the intro?
Hello everybody, here we are, number 4 of the Kath and Kemo. It's our last one in this little series, and we've got Kath with a beautiful living wall that she put together, and here she is.
Well, yeah, this is the last one. So I've finished chemo. The last ones were a bit rugged, but all done. And the great news is that I had a scan last week and the cancer is all gone. So excellent response to the treatment, my doctor said. So great news. And a couple of weeks after I finished treatment, even my hair started growing back, my eyebrows started growing back, so much quicker than I expected. So it is really, really great news. So the next thing is just taking the next steps to reduce my risk, a bit more surgery and a bit more radiation, just to reduce that risk so it doesn't come back again. That's the goal now.
It certainly is the goal. So what we thought we'd do for this video, because Kath has been so generous in telling you all the things that you need to know, I got Kath to write down top 10 things that she'd like to share. Just if you know anyone else who's on this journey, or you might have been, or you never know, and also just to share this with Kath, because I know a lot of you have really been keen to see this and help her on that. So let's start with, Kath put them down, not me, so lessons to be learned, we'll call them. So number 1, Kath, was, you said, trust your medical and support team.
Yeah, so I think it's the best thing is you're not an expert, and the doctors are and the nurses are. So really listen to them, ask them questions, be open with them how you're feeling and your symptoms, and just take their advice. And that also includes support from your friends. So I have a great friendship group, and different friends do different things for me. So I have a friend that does research, and then I might have a friend that might run errands for me. Someone might help me with groceries. So I've got lots of different people to support me. So don't be afraid to ask your support people, but you really have to trust the medical professionals and also your support network. That was number 1.
So number 2, and it's one of Kath's favourites, is exercise, and she said even on the bad days.
Yeah, so every single day I exercised, even when I was in a bit of pain and it was really uncomfortable. I mightn't have ridden my bike, but I went for a walk, and every single day I did at least 4 hours.
We're having trouble with the dogs, so we're trying to do the exercise because I accidentally hit the wrong button. So Kath, the importance of exercise.
Okay, sorry about the dogs. Yes, exercise every day. I exercise while I chemo. It helped me keep sane. I think it helped me reduce my symptoms as well. Kept me active. So even on those bad days, I did at least 4,000 steps. I mightn't have ridden my bike, but every single day I did exercise, and highly recommend that for other people that are going through chemo. Even if it's just a little bit. So listen to your body. Some days I wasn't feeling so great, so I had to go a lot slower. Having a little watch that tells you your heartbeat, so I knew that I shouldn't go over 130 my heartbeat, so that's a really great tool as well to have as well. So, but don't stop exercising.
And you got a lot of advice on that right from the beginning, didn't you?
Yeah, so the University of Queensland helped me with the research papers to show how important it was, not only for reducing the symptoms of chemotherapy, but also the long-term benefits of the less likelihood of it reoccurring as well. So happy to be involved in any research projects on that. So I think it's really important.
Yeah, and I have witnessed Kath doing the exercise, and one day I came over for a walk, and she just made it round the block, but she made it nevertheless, even though she'd had a bad night and not felt really fabulous. So yeah, I think it's not just a thing that everybody says, that exercise has really, really helped. Okay, so now we're going on to the be prepared, unpredictable. And unpredictably, I lost the video of that before, so here we go again to proof of the pudding.
You know, chemo is a pretty hard drug, and every week you never know what the chemo gift is going to give you. So your body's trying to, you know, fight whether the drug or fight something, and every week you might get a different symptom. So sometimes I got a rash. Some days my hair fell out a lot, and other weeks it wouldn't. Some days my face blew up a bit too much. Some days I got a discoloration on my hand, bad fingernails, lots of different things. So be prepared for the unexpected. So they give you a list of all the symptoms you can get, but just because you get a symptom one week, you might get a completely different symptom the next week. So be prepared for getting any of those symptoms, but you'll get through it, whichever symptom you get. So, and they're there to help you as well, the doctors.
Great advice. All right, we've decided you might notice we're no longer in the beautiful garden, but we are next to beautiful doors inside Kath's house. And she spent a fair bit of time, like everybody has this year, but for different reasons. So our next point, or Kath's next point, is listen and read.
Yeah, so my advice is listen to what the doctors and the nurses are saying and read. But read what they give you. I didn't become Dr. Google. I made a decision not to stress out and read probably the worst things. So I connected with the University of Queensland. They sent me things to read. The doctors and the nurses sent me things to read. And the Cancer Council also have things. So I think that's my advice is if I Googled everything, there's lots of information that is not always good news, or lots of different things about therapy, that different alternative treatments, which I think it's really important that if you access Google, you might be accessing things in America that they don't have the same healthcare system as us, so they might use more alternative therapies, but the chemo drugs that I use were proven, and yes, you can use alternative therapies, but just tell your doctors if you're going to do that as well. So my advice is just listen to what they say, and I often had a support person in with me, my husband or my sister or Jan, because I don't always remember things during that treatment. So, and they might remember different things. So when you ask the question, listen to the answer, but also it's good to have someone else listening as well.
Yeah. Luckily, she didn't have to rely on me too much for that one. However, we did have fun, and I was very happy to be part of the cold cap and hair loss journey. Not so much the hair loss, but the fun that went with all of that. And I have to say Kath's attitude to that was pretty amazing, because that cap, I tell you.
Yeah, look, the cap's a bit chilly, and it got chillier at the end as I had less hair. But look, I really recommend that I had hair for 3 months, and then it just started going out right at the end. And not only that, it's really helped with it coming back quicker. So, and it's not for everyone, but it was free, and it was just something that I had to spend a bit of extra time. So I was happy to give it a go, and for me, I think it was pretty successful. And yeah, the hair loss is part of you, it's part of your identity, so it was pretty hard when that falls out. Unlike other women, I didn't vacuum that up. I actually saved the hair that I lost, and I kept it in the bathroom as a reminder that it will come back. And my husband kept wanting to throw it away, and I said, no, I need that to look at that to say, I'm going to have that again back on here. And that was a really good motivation for me.
You're not going to use it, sew it into a hair shirt later on.
I have thrown it out now because it's grown back.
Yeah.
During the treatment, it was something I needed visually.
And you might notice, guys, that Kath's now got a fancy scarf. That particular scarf can double up as a skirt. We might catch a picture of that later on. But yeah, so wigs and scarves and all sorts of things. And you can experiment with being a bit of a new you. Kath did. She was willing to be a guinea pig for those things. All right. I saw the title of this and thought, where are we going with this? Good plumbing.
Well, I didn't know how to say this that wouldn't turn people off, but I guess I told you about my tracking sheet, and one of my tracking sheet was how many laxatives did I have, laxative drops did I use each day after the treatment. So the chemo drug, the anti-nausea drugs do block you up, and it's really important to get your body moving in that way. So exercise helps, but also the drops. So it really, you don't want to go too far the other way. So it's good to have good plumbing and really know your body, and that's why the tracking sheet helped me, because I knew how many drops would work, and that was consistent over the weeks.
Yeah. And
good plumbing is good.
And as you said, you had chemo brain, so you couldn't always remember how many you would take. So
no.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows, and it's always important to have a good plumber. Okay, This is a very important one, I think. Cass put setbacks happen.
Yeah, look, I had a couple of setbacks with the last chemo drug, nicknamed the Red Devil. Had to go to hospital, and my last chemo treatment, my white blood cells weren't good enough to have chemo, so I had to wait for another week. So I guess just be prepared that a setback might happen, but it's only a setback, and a week doesn't really matter too much, or 2 weeks. I know it's pretty tough at the time, but you know, your body's you've got to listen to your doctors, what they're saying, and listen to what your blood results are. So just, if setback happens, that's just part of chemo, and lots of people have setbacks. So just keep focusing and moving forward.
Okay, this is the last two that Kat's going to talk about, and number 8 in this great advice is family and friends.
Yeah, so I guess I've already mentioned this a little bit, but family are great and friends are really important as well. And I think for me it was really important to take my friends and my family on the journey with me. I was pretty open what was happening, and for me that was what I needed, but that mightn't be what everyone needs. But I think what I learnt was you have friends for different things, and don't be afraid to ask them, and don't be afraid to ask family. And you know, family might call you or pop round, and when you're isolated, that's really important. A text message or something through Messenger is even more important. So, you know, if you know someone going through chemo, continue to reach out to them, even if it's just, hey, how are you going? And I have a friend, Martina, that every single day she texts me to see how I was. And, you know, that meant a lot to me, that every day I knew she was thinking of me. And I had other friends that would call me once a week or message me every now and again. So I think that's really important. You know, great if you get flowers, but for me, having that communication was the thing that kept me absolutely sane through this process.
Great. And then the last one, which I think is, goodness me, I think Kath need a medal for this particular one, but it's called patience.
I'm not very patient. I'm so impatient, and I wanted to know everything now. So I think I annoyed my doctors and nurses because I wanted to know the whole process, and that's my personality. And sometimes I had to learn to be a bit patient, and I think that's just be patient on yourself and don't be hard on yourself. It's tough at times, and you know, just be kind to yourself, and that's really, I had to learn to be a bit more patient with myself. Still probably do.
Great advice. So what part of your mental health you did? The frog count?
I counted my frogs every single day.
How many frogs?
And every single day on chemo, I found a frog. Every single day. After I finished chemo, they're not there anymore. It's so weird.
Wow.
So one day, I found 8. The little green frogs and little brown frogs.
Can we not find one? It'd be great to take a photo of one.
Today, and do you want to start again?
Yep.
Do I do the intro?
Okay, we're videoing again. I lost track. I got wobbly, and so